Love is light that's within me, shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside. Hello, Na. How are you? I'm just going to be sending to other people. So let's do the same, please. The promise, the future, and life. Yeah. Let the light that's within me shine to the whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. I hope we are good. Oh, thank you. Let's click down on the screen and send to everybody's. Hope and make you feel alright. Rainbow, the promise, the future, and life. Yeah. Love is light that's within me, shine to the whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding. John KK, I see you. Or is it KK? I don't know. 169, I see you anyways. All around. Apollo Media, welcome. Juliana, I see you. I'm just going to wait a few minutes for others to join before I go into the talk today. Star Girl, how are you? Thank you so much. I see people tapping already or liking the live already. Thank you so much. Juliana, do me a favor. Please invite your other friends to be part of this talk today. Thank you for joining. I hope you are good. I hope our week has been good. Mommy Kato, I see you. Is it Kato or Kato? I see you anyway. Inside, all around me, yeah. Inside. Please help share the live. Thank you. Bringing hope and make you feel alright. Charlie babes, I see you. M Dice, you're welcome. Or more Dice. Thank you. I see you. Sing. Welcome. Love is light that's within me, shine to the whole world, Light, let the dawn of a new day. Thank you. I see you, Seven. Welcome. Gaming with Seven. I see you. Thank you so much for the heart me. Thank you. Fave, I see you. Oh, wow. Oh, thank you so much, Fave. I see you. God bless you. Seven, thank you. IEE, thank you so much for joining. I hope you are good. I hope this week has been good. So far, so good. I'm always excited on Thursdays because tomorrow is Friday. All work and no play makes for me a dull girl. I don't want to be dull. So tomorrow is Friday after work. Just relax, do nothing if possible. Yeah, I know. I love weekends. You like weekends as well. I love weekends. Time to kind of unwind, relax, and recuperate before the week starts all over again. Thank you guys for always joining me on Insight with FunmiRoyal. Another day the Lord has made, and indeed I'm gonna rejoice and be glad in it. I hope today hasn't been too tedious for you. Yeah, I hope not. But if you're still at work, well, keep going. We're rooting for you. Nearly there. Keep your fingers crossed and don't overdo it. Take your breaks, guys. Always take breaks. Don't just, say, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Before you know, you've done 8 hours, 10 hours straight. It's always good to take breaks when you're at work. Mary Chosen, I see you, Mary. Thanks for coming in. Please help share this live to your friends. Let them be part of our talk today. You can see on my screen, marriage and tolerance. Marriage and tolerance. That is what we're looking at today. It's quite an interesting topic. And if you're in marriage, you're in the right place. If you're about to go into a marriage relationship, you're in the right place as well. If you're thinking, I think marriage is for me, please pull your chair and sit down. We need to talk about these things because these are things, we need to look into whilst thinking marriage. There's so many aspects of marriage to consider, especially when you've made up your mind you're going to go into it or you're already in it. There's certain things we still need to talk about. Jennifer, I see you. Thanks for joining. Please help share this live to your friends. Let them be part of this talk today. Marriage and tolerance. Marriage and tolerance. It's not all about love. You have love and there's some other branches of marriage that keeps it, in place. And if one or two or three is missing, love may not just be enough to hold that marriage together. So I dare us on Inside to talk about all these other aspects of marriage relationship. So if you're in that relationship and somebody just proposed to you, these are things you need to start considering. Are you tolerant of this person's all in all? Their shortcomings, their good side, their bad side, the ugly side. Ray, I see you. Thanks for joining. I hope you are good today. Guys, please help share the live. I'll keep saying that because it's beneficial. Some people are in a marriage and this topic we're talking about seems to be a problem. Maybe they feel their spouse is not tolerant enough, or maybe they are finding it hard to tolerate certain things, or they've tolerated thus far and they're just tired. Let us talk about these things today so we can keep enjoying our marriages. And like I always say here, God's intention for marriage is that we enjoy our marriages. Everything God created is good. And like I always say, why we're not seeing the goodness of marriage is because maybe this topic we're lacking tolerance or some other aspects. We don't put in what we're meant to put in. And that's why we're not getting back the goodness of marriage. So I know that we reflect a lot. We're going to self-reflect so we can do better by ourselves, by our spouses, so we can keep enjoying our marriage relationship. Pastor Gids, I see you. Thank you so much for joining. Visca, I see you. Thank you for joining. So as usual, I'll go into my talk. And after the talk, I'm going to be bringing us up to talk some more about this tolerance, how it's affected some relationships, the experiences you have in it. Blessings, God's own. Yay, thank you. Yeah, indeed, God's own. And right back at you. Thank you so much for joining today. Craig Steele, I see you. Thanks for joining. Click down on your screen. Names will pop up. Just click send to all of them. Let them be part of our talk today. And at some point, I have another puzzle for us today. In case this topic gets so heated up, I really wanted to relax before we leave today. Oh, thank you so much, Pastor Gates. Thank you for the heart me. So I have my puzzle for today, which, anyone is free to come and attempt it. You have to come into the box to attempt it. And if you know the answer, you can type it. But if I have to give you your gift, I need for you to come into the box so you can get your gift for today. And if nobody gets the answer to the puzzle today, I love puzzles. That's why, I just can't. I love it. It just brings this lively part of me, really, trying to think, what could be the answer? What could not be the answer? Babe, thanks for joining. So if nobody gets it today, I'm going to bring it back next week. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I know we guys, We probably like puzzle as much as I do as well. It's just for us to kind of unwind before we leave inside today. Jibola, I see you. So I'm going to go straight into the talk. And like I said, please feel free to type in there. I hope I won't miss your submissions as well. As I'm giving the talk, I can read from you if you relate to what I'm saying. Today on Insight on Thursdays, we talk about marriage relationships, topics that has to do with marriage relationship. And don't say, oh, I'm not married, so no. If you're aspiring to get married, you have a brother who's married, a sister who's married, you can just hear one or two things that will be beneficial to their relationship. So we don't want to be selfish. Bishop K. Matthias, I see you. Thanks for joining. Help share this live to your friends. Let them be part of our talk today. So I'm just going to go into it, and please use the chat to put your submissions as we go along. It's just to add a bit of perspective to it, so we can have even a better understanding about marriage and tolerance. Marriage and tolerance. So today we're discussing another because we've always been discussing very important topics on Inside. So we're discussing Fabia. So I see you. Thanks for joining. Another important topic that speaks to the heart of relationships, marriage and tolerance. For anyone who has been married or has witnessed marriage, up close, it's clear that marriage is one of the most profound partnerships two people can enter into. Mojafa, thanks for joining. I see you. But what truly sustains marriage? Do you know? Word Inside, thanks for joining. Among the many factors, tolerance stands out as a fundamental pillar. Like I said, love is not enough. Love enough cannot keep that marriage together. There are other aspects of it, of marriage, that we need to pay attention to as well. I don't know if you've heard something like, I love him, but I can't stand him. It's like conflicting statement. But yeah, you find that sometimes in a marriage relationship, maybe something has happened, or over the years, you're not minding your marriage, you started growing apart, you're not even tolerant of your shortcomings anymore. A lot of things can contribute to lack of tolerance in a marriage. So let's break it down, open it up, chew it a bit, and talk some more about it. So let's go into it deeper and deeper. Understanding tolerance in marriage. We need to understand tolerance in marriage. Like I say, I don't have all the answers. That's why I'm hoping that very soon you're going to join me in the box and we will talk some more about this, just to enlighten ourselves. Thank you so much, Word Inside, for the heart me. Thank you. So when we speak about tolerance, we're talking about acceptance, we're talking about patience and understanding. Tolerance is not simply enduring your partner's flaws, their quirks or mistakes. It's a deeper acceptance of the differences that exist between two people. You didn't grow up in the same home. You didn't, your background is probably different from that of yours to your spouse. So there's a whole lot of differences that are some you can relate, some, it's because I love you, I'm just going to tolerate you. So God help you, they do something and you're not feeling that love again. What happens to that relationship? Jet Black, I see you. Thanks for joining. I hope you're going to stay till the end so we can talk some more about this topic. So it's about finding peace in these differences and allowing your partner the freedom to be themselves, even when their behavior might challenge our beliefs, our habits, or expectations. We have different habits. Thank you so much, Mommy Kato. We have different habits. And they say old habits die hard. So you have to be willing to tolerate certain habits that is not dying or that is coming and going and things like that. Morgan GK, I see you. Thanks for joining. So why tolerance is vital in a marriage? Of course, there's so many reasons why. Like I said, the intention of God is for us to enjoy our marriages. And there's certain things we need to, intentionally talk about so that it doesn't affect us silently and then leading to separation or divorce. So why tolerance is vital in marriage is very important. Felipe, thanks for joining. I see you. So it's important for individuals and inherent differences. Everyone has their unique backgrounds, personalities, their habits, and even ways of thinking. So differences might be subtle when you're dating, but then it tends to become more apparent after marriage. I think it was a few weeks back I was talking about when you ignore red flags in a relationship that has not led to marriage. You ignore it. When you get into that marriage, it's not going to be red flags alone, it'll be rainbow. How do you handle rainbow when you could not even handle red flags? So let's be mindful. These are things we need to be talking about when we're dating, when we're courting one another. Find out, are they tolerant, not just even of you, people around you, people around them. Lizzie Deezy, thanks for joining. I see you. So these are things we need to consider. Differences might be subtle, like I said, in dating, but they tend to become more apparent after marriage. Tolerance allows us to understand that our partner's thoughts, behaviors, and feelings are a product of their life's journey and their personality, just as ours are. You have your own life experiences that has shaped you in that journey to marriage. Likewise, your spouse as well, different journey. Because when you start getting to know each other, you've heard about the things they've gone through in life. Sometimes you can relate with it, you're compassionate, you're empathetic towards them, you're sympathetic towards them, and all of that. Are you tolerant of them, after getting to know them? Or you just feel, look, there's just so much with you I can't tolerate. I don't think I'm going to take this relationship further. You have a right to do that as well. Eunice James, I see you. And then the second one is growth and change. Tolerance is important for a married relationship because of growth and change. People change over time. People change over time. We are influenced by experiences, like I said, challenges, and new environments as well. So tolerance enables us to adapt to these changes. A tolerant partner is someone who can say, I understand you're growing and I'm willing to grow alongside you, even if the path isn't always easy. Because, life has its own challenges. Life will shake you to the right, you will change to adapt. Shake you to the left, you will change to adapt. And your partner is just lost in there. But if they're not tolerant, they will just be forever lost. But because they're tolerant, they see the wind blowing you this way, they're there with you, tolerating it. They see the wind blow you that way, they're there tolerating you, and vice versa as well. So these are things, that we need to look into as well. So the third point I'm going to make is conflict resolution. Tolerance is very important in a marriage relationship just because of conflict resolution. No marriage is without disagreements. And don't get me started. I've heard of people say, oh, we've been married for 20 years, we've never argued. I'm like, hello, are you in this world? I hope so. I hope not. I hope whatever. But the day that argument is going to come up, I pray that marriage still stands. That's my take on that. Anyway, so when conflicts arise, tolerance allows us to listen. Because we're tolerant, we'll have to listen, to hold a space for each other's perspective and to manage our reactions. The way a scenario will hit me and the way I'm going to behave or react towards it is different from your spouse. You can never react the same way to the same situation. So you have to be tolerant to see how they're accommodating that change or that scenario and all of that, and you have to be understanding as well to go with that. So it encourages us to let go of minor annoyances instead of turning them into major dispute. I was in a hangout. I always have this hangout before I come on live, and we're talking about people who get divorced for some silly excuse. Oh, he didn't press the toothpaste from the bottom, he's always pressing from the middle. Why do they do that? And after a while you just break, like, I can't take this anymore. Why? You can't tolerate that anymore. He does something, but it's not wrong as long as they're pressing toothpaste. As long as toothpaste is coming out, what does it matter? So you can imagine little things like that. There's so many that sound silly, but it could break up a marriage relationship when tolerance is gone. So don't let any minor annoyance turn into a major dispute, please. Don't say, when they ask you, why did you divorce your husband? Oh, he used to press the toothpaste from the bottom. Hello? Is that good enough reason to divorce? I don't understand. Food for thought. Tolerance paves way for empathy and compromise, which are essential for resolving conflicts in a productive way. There is no how. You have to compromise with your spouse. You have empathy, because sometimes you may feel, why are they reacting over emotional about this thing? But that's just the way they're reacting to it. It has nothing to do with you. Just let them be in that space and be there to support them emotionally. Be tolerant of whatever is going on for them. Another one we can look at is fostering emotional safety. Tolerance helps to foster emotional safety. So one of the deepest desire we have as human is need to feel accepted. Tolerance allows each partner to feel seen and respected, fostering an environment where both can be emotionally vulnerable without fear of judgment or ridicule. Like I say, nobody's perfect. You're not perfect. Your spouse is not perfect. But together, you're perfect together. In that imperfection, there is perfection, both of you. So you have to be tolerant in order to judge your partner fairly, in order to not to ridicule them when they're going through stuff and all of that. And that brings about a good environment in your marriage relationship. The last one quickly, what I'm going to say is tolerance is very important because it aids forgiveness. If you don't have tolerance, when they offend you, when your spouse offends you, you're gone. It doesn't matter what it is, they've hurt you and all of that. You can't take it, you can't stand it, you can't tolerate it, and then off you go. But then, even if you go and remarry, what are the chances that this new person is not gonna even be worse than the first one? So we need to be tolerant. So tolerance aids forgiveness in a marriage. Marriage requires forgiveness. It's inevitable that each partner will occasionally disappoint, will hurt, or frustrate each other. These things happen. Whether you plan it or you don't plan it, these things happen in a marriage relationship. And the earlier we get our mind towards it, the better for us. Your parents offend you, your siblings would offend you, your partner too will offend you. It's just part of life. And we need to learn tolerance, forgiveness in order to move on past it. So tolerance lay the groundwork for forgiveness by encouraging a spirit of patience and empathy. Your spouse is not perfect, or if you held them in such high esteem and one day they do something and you just feel so disappointed, you have to learn to forgive them, and I always say here, as long as it's not DADVs, we are good. You have to learn to tolerate their shortcomings as well as their quirkiness and all of that, and the good side, the bad side, the ugly side of them. You have to be tolerant of that. So when you're talking about tolerance in a marriage relationship, of course, there's certain things that will come and challenge tolerance in that relationship. So I'm going to talk about the challenges to tolerance briefly. So while tolerance is vital, it does come with challenges. It's very important and it comes with challenges of its own. So living closely with another person's will test you daily. They will test your tolerance daily. Sometimes they might even do it intentionally to see how far irritated you're going to be, or how far you're going to put them at arm's length or something, just to know, can you even tolerate me in this situation? If this were to happen to me, would you be tolerant of me? Larabelle, I see you. Thanks for joining. Feel bad. Thank you so much for joining. I see you. So let's look at some challenges that tolerance often faces. I see you. Thank you so much, Holy Safety. Thank you for joining. So one of the challenges, unmet expectations. It will challenge tolerance for one another. Many come into marriage with ideal ideals about how their spouses should be. Of course, it's good to dream, oh, I'm dreaming my husband is going to be this, my wife is going to be this and all. And then you have this expectation so high, or sometimes you feel I'm gonna meet a man that'll be better than my father, that will be than my brother, and that will be this than my sister. And then you come into that relationship and voila, reality sets in. You'll be like, oh my god, oh my god, how was I blinded to to have married this person or whatever? But a lot of things come. Your ideal husband, your ideal wife may not just be ideal in reality. So cut them some slack, okay? So when reality doesn't align, it's easy to become frustrated because what you're thinking in your mind about your spouse and the reality facing you, they're two different things, and you just feel frustrated. You feel like you can't tolerate this and all of that. So here, tolerance requires flexibility and the release of rigid expectations. Don't box your spouse in, don't put your spouse in a box, rather. Petula, I see you. Don't put them in a box, like in your mind. And every time they're not meeting your expectation, it's like, oh, how long can you do this? So please be flexible so that you can be more tolerant of your spouse, whatever transition they're going through, whatever age they are at, and all of that. Again, what can challenge tolerance in a marriage relationship is repeated patterns. And what do I mean by repeated patterns? Tolerance can be difficult when a partner repeats certain habits or behavior that we find unpleasant or disagreeable. It's like, we talked about this thing maybe a few months back, and now you're doing this again. Oh my goodness, they're testing and challenging your tolerance level. How far can you go in that relationship? Mind you, this is your spouse for life. This is meant to be your spouse for life. So certain things, like I said, old habits die hard. Certain habits, they will, it will keep reoccurring and reoccurring. It's not that they don't know they've done something bad, but I don't know, it's just a habit that dies so hard, and from time to time they see themselves stumbling into that again, and you just get to your wits and like, I can't take this anymore, I don't think I can tolerate this anymore, and all of that. So repeated patterns can challenge tolerance in a marriage relationship. So my shout out to you who is always repeating what do they call them now, a repeat offender. Please stop before you break your spouse. Stop before you break that thing in them that they're holding on to. Please be mindful of what you do or how you treat as your spouse is very important. So practicing tolerance in this situation requires distinguishing between issues that truly impact the health of the relationship and those that are merely personal annoyances. I know, like I said, issues do happen that will almost make you question why you're still in that marriage and all of that. As long as your health is intact, as long as it's not like, being bruised, battered and all of that, you might just have to develop more tolerance towards your spouse until they overcome whatever it is that is making them disappoint you. Love is good. I see you. Thanks for joining. Feloni, thanks for joining. Again, another challenge is personal limitations. So each partner may be going through their own struggles, stress from work, personal insecurities, or health concerns. In such times, it's crucial to remember that both partners have limits. Okay, tolerance means not expecting perfection, but allowing each other's space to be imperfect humans. Just be as you are. You love them regardless. You have to start growing thick skin concerning certain aspects of their life that you just feel, if you had your way, you just wave your magic wand and this attitude or behavior, they will not repeat it again. But what are the chances that they will not repeat it again? So we need to be tolerant of certain behaviors, their imperfection, most especially. So practicing tolerance in marriage, it's something that can be practiced. It's something that you can be intentional about it. You can learn how to be tolerant, Like I said, nobody's perfect. We learn every day to be better. We grow. and we become more mature and handle things differently. So tolerance is more than a concept, it is a practice. I'm going to mention some ways to nurture tolerance within a marriage setting. I can't mention all of it. That's where you come into, mention the ones that I may have left out. So one of the ways you can practice tolerance in your marriage is self-awareness and self-control. Charity, you're welcome. Wacky Annie, I see you. Jane Wasey, thanks for joining. So the starting point of tolerance is knowing ourselves. Raz, I see you. By understanding our triggers and emotional patterns, we can manage our responses more effectively. So rather than reacting impulsively, we can respond thoughtfully. Some people say, it's my reflex. Maybe they did something before your hand is gone that way. Not that you intended to, but it's your reflex. But you have to learn, because you know that when this person does something that triggers you, your hand automatically goes. But you will now say to yourself, you have to practice it. Your hand is going to go. Just turn it into a dance or something. Boss lady, I see you. Or you tell yourself, look, even when you get so upset, don't ever raise your hand, or don't ever say this, or don't ever do this. So you have to tell yourself, practice that. If your spouse comes and they just do something that triggers, like you can't take it, what would be your reaction? Sometimes you might have to play this scenario in your mind and find the best constructive way to react, and think about it as well, just in case tomorrow it happens, because you've prepared your mind how it should react. I know sometimes it could be challenging, but you even try it first. So you have to be self-aware, and you need to have self-control when we're talking about tolerance in that marriage relationship. So don't react impulsively, just be thoughtful, be thoughtful in your response to whatever the situation might be. Again, practice active listening. One way to practice tolerance is by truly listening to our partners. When disagreement arises, take time to hear their side without interrupting or immediately defending yourself. There is a problem, they're addressing it. I don't think our spouses just want to look for trouble for no reason. Who wants to disrupt the peace in their marriage, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So listen to them, let them land. Try to understand where they're coming from. And this is part of the tolerance we're talking about, practicing that. If you're the type that you're a lawyer, for example, you just must qualify everything, quantify everything, you will not let your spouse put in a word or a sentence or whatever. You have to practice being quiet and active listening. Listen to them. Don't start defending. Don't start immediately before they finish, start interrupting and things like that. You will not hear what they're saying. And then they might get irritable when you keep doing this. NJ, thank you so much for joining. So this helps in viewing situations from their perspective, and that would foster empathy. And they will say, oh, my partner listens. And this can build even more tolerant attributes in your spouse. So let's be mindful, active listening. This can promote tolerance in our marriage relationship. Again, patience. Patience and empathy. We need that. Patience is the bedrock of tolerance. When you see tolerance, you will see patience. If you see irritability, you will see lack of patience, so to say, if I can, explain it that way. So marriage requires a commitment to understanding each other's fears, insecurities, and dreams. Empathy involves putting ourselves in our partner's shoes, imagining how they might be feeling at that time, and approaching them with kindness. One good turn deserves another, as they say, because it might be your turn tomorrow and they have to be tolerant towards you. But when they think back that in all of their situations, you have not been empathetic towards them, you have not been understanding, tendency is they will give you back in your own coin. And then two wrong does not make a right. We know that. But I want to believe we don't treat our spouses that way. We need to sit and talk about things openly, which is the next point I'm going to make. Open communication. Open communication. Tolerance doesn't mean ignoring problems, okay? Some people might think, could it be, I'll just let it be. That means I'm tolerant. No. Open communication. Tolerance does not mean ignoring problems. So in fact, it calls for clear and compassionate communication with your spouse. Adetayo, I see you. Thanks for joining. Express your concerns without attacking or blaming. Because a lot of times, even I find myself doing this. It's so easily, it's something that easily comes to anybody. But we're mindful now, and that's why we're talking about this today, marriage and tolerance. So let's be mindful how we speak when we have to speak. You might feel frustrated and you're using words that normally you would not use, almost even cursing or almost saying certain things. So be mindful how you communicate with your spouse. So when you do that without attacking them or without blaming them, this helps maintain a healthy dialogue where both partners feel heard and understood. Osas, I see you. Thanks for joining. Again, choosing battles wisely can help you cultivate tolerance in that marriage. You have to choose your battles wisely. So it's essential to let go of minor irritations. Like I said, don't make something minor to be major. If you're testing your spouse, really focus on what truly matters for the well-being of the marriage rather than trying to address every tiny annoyance. You have to look away sometimes. Sometimes you have to address situation, but you need to know which one to look away from, which one you need to address. That is where maturity comes in. So this selective tolerance can help preserve the harmony in that relationship. I'm telling you. So what aspects, again, I want to look at when you're talking about marriage and tolerance? Recognizing your partner's good qualities. When the chips are down, you're just down there and you're just thinking of all the downside things they've done. Think about their good qualities. It's hard. When you're upset, when you're angry, when you're annoyed, you're just in that state and you just want to be in that state. But over time, people sometimes fixate on what they dislike about their partner, forgetting the reasons they fell in love in the first place. So sometimes I've done that several times when I'm so upset with my husband or he's upset. I don't know. I've done this. I sometimes look at old photos just to help me calm down, or I just see videos from past events or something. And it kind of helps, to calm down, or actually picture in my mind, he's annoying me right now, but I just remembered when he was so good and all, just to kind of balance that situation for me. And I develop more thick skin where tolerance is concerned. Sometimes it's hard. Don't get me wrong. I do know this thing is hard. And take it from me, I mean, almost 26 years in marriage, I can tell you, sometimes you just need a moment, to get back to that place of being tolerant again, which we quite understand, but don't stay there for too long. So always remember why you fell in love with your spouse in the first place, if that would help you. Because remember those butterflies in your tummy when you started, and the early days of your marriage, planning this is what we're going to do with our family and all. Just remember the good times, really. And by remembering and appreciating the positive traits in our partner, we will build a stronger foundation of tolerance. And you find out over time, they might even do something more annoying. You just find out, well, you just love them anyways. There's nothing you can do about it. And you move past it in no time, which is good. Again, practicing gratitude. Practicing gratitude. Regularly appreciate each other's efforts and and help them not to always look at the negative side of things that brings the negative emotions that sometimes lead to that intolerance. So be mindful. Small acts of kindness and gratitude have a cumulative effect on relationship, and it fosters warmth, and it reduces the likelihood of frustration and resentment. So you have to practice gratitude, and that kind of helps as well, especially when They have heated moments, heated situation in that relationship. Seth, thank you for joining. So when does tolerance have its limits? Yes, I dare go there. When does tolerance have its limits? While tolerance is essential, there are situations where it shouldn't mean enduring hurtful or harmful behaviors. There's always a thin line. If you cross it, it becomes a hurtful situation or a very harmful behavior from your spouse. So tolerance should not require a person to compromise their own well-being or moral values. If you're constantly being put in that situation, it's something you need to openly address with your spouse. Michael, I see you. So this includes situations involving abuse, for example, or addiction or other destructive behaviors that could cause lasting damage. You can't overlook that. You cannot. We're saying capital letter cannot overlook that. Tolerance have its limits in those situations I've mentioned. Okay, you don't want to be tolerant of destructive behaviors from your spouses that will bring about a lasting damage to you, when they're abusive, when they have addictions, and all sort of things like that. So in these cases, boundaries must be set, and sometimes professional intervention is necessary. So tolerance really does have its boundaries. Let's not push it, guys. I know we love each other. We will overcome our shortcomings as long as you are remorseful, as long as you are apologetic about certain things. It will help your spouse to be tolerant, more tolerant of you, of that situation. So the role of tolerance in building a lasting love. The role of tolerance in building a lasting love. In its healthiest form, tolerance fosters a love that is deeper and more resilient. It provides space for two people to grow, both as individuals and as a couple. Mommy Kergbolo, I see you. Mommy K, let me just put it like that before I'll go and bite myself. Apologies for that. I don't mean to, because sometimes it's so tiny, you're trying to read all the words. So this acceptance creates a solid foundation of trust, respect, and compassion, making it possible for a marriage to withstand the storms of life. So by choosing to be tolerant, we choose to honor and nurture a partnership that respects differences and also cultivates a safe, loving, and enduring home. So in my closing thought, I just want to encourage all of us to view tolerance not as a burden, but as a gift that enhances and deepens our connection with our spouses. Marriage is a journey, guys. It's a journey filled with joys. It's a journey filled with challenges. It's a journey filled with growth. It's a journey filled with change. With tolerance, we not only make room for our partner's unique qualities, but also open the door to a love that withstands time. So let us be mindful. Whatever journey, whatever phase we're in, let us be tolerant of one another, except you don't mean those vows, for better, for worse, till death do you part. Mary Florence, I see you. Thanks for joining. So we need to sometimes occasionally remind ourselves of the good times when the chips are down, so that we don't fill our mind, our heart with resentment towards our spouse. They're going to be in our lives forever by the grace of God. And forever, means a lot. But another topic for another day. So let's be tolerant. Let us make room for our partner's unique qualities, their quirkiness, their good side, their bad, and all of that. And that would help foster love even some more in that relationship. So that is the end of my talk. And the only one question I have for us today is, can a marriage thrive without tolerance? Can a marriage thrive without tolerance? Thank you, Coach Sola. Bringing hope and make you feel. Yeah, that's my intention with Inside. Thank you, Coach Sola. Thank you. the promise, the future, and life. Let this light that's within me shine. Thank you for the necklace, friendship necklace. Thank you. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside. Ify, I see you. Honey, Irena. So guys, that is my talk for today, marriage and tolerance. Thank you so much, Ify. God bless you. Thanks for joining in. We want to look more into this because, I mean, we all can come with different perspective to it. We can come with examples of life so that we can learn some more. There are certain things, you know, you might think you will never put up with, but because you love this person, I mean, you always want them in your life no matter what. But remember, we've gone to the extreme bit where tolerance, you cannot tolerate such behavior from your spouse. You and I know what I'm talking about. But you just find out that you have to swallow your pride sometimes. You have to swallow that pain sometimes. Just have to be tolerant of your spouse so that you can still enjoy your marriage. And you also expect that they will give the same back in return. If you're the one that has misbehaved, you want your spouse to be tolerant. You want them to be there emotionally. You want them to be understanding and all of that. So we need to give what we are also wanting from our spouse or what we need from them. The Crown Fit 12, I see you. Thanks for joining. So guys, send me an invite. Let's come into the box and talk some more about this topic, marriage and tolerance. Do you think marriage can thrive without tolerance? Some say love is enough. Love is in the air. Love is enough. What is your take about this? I want us to, expand more in our thoughts, in our, reasoning of this topic, marriage and tolerance. Do you think marriage can thrive without tolerance? Thank you so much for the gift. Ify, I need you to come into the box. Let me hear your views about this topic today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Okay, let's leave that. Nah, I need to hear from you as well. Thank you guys so much. Send me an invite. Let us talk more about this because this is our marriage we're talking about. We have to talk about these things to make our marriage better and worth fighting for, Thank you so much. Ify, oh, you're the first in my box. That's good. How are you and how's your day been, Ify? You're welcome.
Hello, I'm doing all
Hello.
right. My day was okay. Thank you.
We bless God. Well done. It's
How are
good
you
to
doing
see you.
today?
You're always breathing in and breathing out sometimes. So I
Yeah,
thought it was right on time today. I hope you can speak where you are.
yeah, I can. Okay.
Okay. So I don't know what your take is. I don't know how much of my talk you heard, but can a marriage thrive without tolerance? What's your take?
No, you can't. I mean, there should be some level of tolerance, and that's why it's very important
Okay.
for us to know ourselves and know the things we can tolerate and the things we cannot tolerate. And when you are dating, you need to find out if those things you know very well you cannot tolerate are found in those people.
Mm.
There are people that cannot tolerate, let's say, somebody that snores at night. And the question is, how do I deal with this?
Mm.
And if you know you cannot be able to deal with it, let's assume that you may decide to have your own separate room. Or in a situation whereby there's no possibility for you to have your separate room, can you be able to sleep with the person on the same bed? If the answer is no, then you have no business with that person because you always be angry with the person. So I think the mistake we make most of the time is thinking that we'll change those people into
Yeah.
submitting to the things we can tolerate.
Mm.
And when the situation arises whereby you cannot be able to tolerate those people, it becomes a kind of a very big kind of a challenge for both parties because you find yourself in it like you're getting angry all the time towards that person. You are irritated all the time towards that person because of those things you know you cannot tolerate. So tolerance is very important because see, your partner will offend you
Mm.
unknowingly.
Definitely.
You can keep your, let's say, toothpaste. Maybe you like to squeeze it from the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you heard me when I said that.
No, not really. You
Oh,
know,
okay. It's
maybe
a
you like to
common thing
squeeze it.
that, I mean, sorry to cut you. The first time I heard that, I'm like, please repeat again. What
Yeah.
on earth are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you like to squeeze from the bottle and this person doesn't care where he squeezes from. You get irritated. Maybe you like to keep things where you can wake up at the middle of the night without light and find it, and this person doesn't care. Maybe this person doesn't like to watch their boxers, and you're like, come on, what is going on? So, all these little things, you look at them, you neglect them, but they can mount to become a mountain, and then whereby destroying that relationship. And that's why I always say to myself, and when I host life, I said to this, we need to first of all know ourselves. You know, you flash back to the people you have dated, the things you didn't like about them. These could be the things that you can't tolerate.
That's true.
Like me personally, I have very sensitive sense of smell. And if I'm dealing with somebody that has a bad smell, of course I cannot be able to tolerate that. Most especially when I try to help you and they don't want to, you know, be helped. And that's why I always find out if somebody has a teachable spirit. I mean, we learn every day. So we have to find the things that are non-negotiable for us and the things that are negotiable for us. I can't live with somebody that smokes. I don't care how gorgeous, how rich, how important you think you are. You understand that kind of thing. So a lot of people probably will say, okay, solution to my need is found in this person. I mean, I can manage them. You can't manage them for long.
No.
You can't. You'll be frustrated out of that relationship. So I think for us to be able to deal with partners without being, irritated so much, you need to know the things you can tolerate and the things you cannot tolerate. And the ones you cannot tolerate, if they outweighs the ones you can tolerate, you have no business with that person. Just leave.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's part of the self-reflection before you say I do. You have to check all the boxes,
Very
and that's why we keep talking about these things. Yeah, especially those who are courting now. We're bringing your attention to these things because those butterfly will not always be there, I'm telling you. So we're helping you to face reality now before you go into that marriage. Except you don't hold marriage sacred like it's meant to be held. So thank you so much, Ify, for that contribution. Thank you so much. I'm coming to you now. How are you? I trust you're good.
Yes, I am. You can hear me. Good evening,
Yeah, I
everyone.
can hear you. Yeah, welcome. So I don't
Yes.
know what your take is. I know you joined a bit earlier, and if you want to start with the question or if you have something else you want to bring up, please feel free.
No, like you said, I don't think tolerance is something that a marriage can survive with because I think actually tolerance, if you view it, is a tool that I feel like can help a relationship address, your indifferences. If you actually look at it that way, it allows you to, kind of accept that, yeah, I'm not perfect, they're not perfect, we're going to have different things, they're brought up different things, they see things differently, but actually being curious to get to know why they think that or why they behave that way or why. I think when you're curious about those things allows you then to have a conversation. If you're having a conversation about, okay, you do something that I don't like, why do you do it, or why do something I don't like, how does it make you feel? And I think that having that general conversation where it takes out the emotional feeling aggrieved or irritated. So I think like it's very important to actually sometimes wait until the emotions out and then finding like a separate time to sit and say, you know what, when we have arguments, I don't like the fact that you storm out of the house or you just leave and you don't talk to me because it makes me feel like you're avoiding me. And when you say that to somebody when it's not all in the heat of the moment, the person then kind of think, oh, okay, I didn't mean that way. I didn't walk away because I was trying to ignore you. I walked away because I didn't want to respond in a way, maybe, to make you upset. I just wanted to give myself some space. And I think when you then sit down and have a conversation outside of that, when it's all heated, you can then kind of understand where each other is coming from. And you might not necessarily, agree that that's the best way, but you can find a compromise. So it could be, for example, I'm a sore person. When I'm upset, I need to have space, because if I don't have space, the
Oh
roof the
dear.
roof is gonna come undone.
Oh dear.
So I know that in myself, and you talk about self awareness. I know that about myself. So for me, and maybe my partner might be somebody who, when they have that we have a disagreement or they're upset, they want to talk about it then. And so you've got these two people with different ways of addressing an issue, headbatting. Because I want to go, you want to talk, and it's not going to work. But actually, if we then able to sit down and say, okay, why is it that you want to walk away? And I can explain to you that, I need that space to kind of zen myself, calm down, and then I can have a constructive conversation with you. And then he might say, oh, it's because at that moment in time, I don't actually want to go to sleep angry. I kind of want to resolve it. So then I kind of understand where both partners coming from. And then we can say, okay, next time there's, I'm upset. Okay, what I might do, you give me some time. You say, okay, I'm going to go away now, but maybe in 10 minutes or 20 minutes or tomorrow morning, we're going to talk about it. We can sit and have a conversation about it. And I think that way, when you address the conflict or the whatever the difference is, it allows the other person to feel heard, valued, and you can both know what to expect from each other. So, you mentioned about expectations. That's something in life, I think, as human beings, apart from being self-aware, it's also lowering your expectations about people, because sometimes we build ideas in our head about what we expect other people to do. Sometimes we even build our own expectation on other people, and they're not capable of seeing things or responding that way. So actually, when you accept that, you know what, I need to lower my expectation. This is the person I'm with. This is how they deal with things. Okay, I might not necessarily agree with it, but when we have a conversation about it, we can get to a level of compromise, understanding, and agreement. And then you can work on that agreement next time when it doesn't happen. Say, oh, well, we agreed to talk about it. And now I've come to talk about it. It seems like you're avoiding it. Why are you avoiding it? And the person could be like, oh, it's because, where I grew up, we don't resolve things. We put things under the cover. We just leave it and we sleep over it and we get up and get on with it. And the person say, but baby, that's not going to help, because tomorrow the same problem might happen, or in a week's time the same problem will happen, and we keep going back to the cycle. But actually, it might be healthier if we sat down and we talked about it. So I think communication is important. We said about self-awareness is important. But I think that if people see tolerance as a positive thing that allows the two of you to come to that, it facilitates that opportunity to talk and communicate and get to that agreement about what we're going to do when this thing happens again. So I feel like it's a good thing. You need to have it in all aspects of life, to be honest with you. It's not just in marriage, even with your kids, even in the workplace, everywhere. You have to be tolerant.
Started.
Sometimes
you look at, if not that you're their mother.
Yes, exactly. You have to grow tolerance in everywhere, and it's a learning process. And I think that's another thing. Our tolerance has to be grown. It has to be built in all situations. You have to grow it. It's something that expands. So you have to work at it. And I think sometimes people just expect, oh, well, I'm different, you're different, that's fine, let's get on with it. No, it's not going to work. We have to talk about the differences. We can't we can't bury it under the carpet. It's going to keep raising its head until we face it head on. And I think that's what that building that tolerance is, growth, as you say. And also in relationship, people change all the time. What might work today might not work tomorrow. Sorry, you hear me? Yeah. I mean, like, change in relationship, we're going to be changing. Everyone's going to be changing. So what we might agree on today.
Sorry,
might
now, can I just pause you for a second?
Yeah, go on.
I just noticed that my comment section is just disappeared.
Oh.
I don't know if anyone is very good with TikTok, because I've been trying to fiddle with buttons. I don't know what happened.
You can't see it?
I cannot see it.
Oh, but it's still rolling.
Okay. As long as it's just I will miss out on stuff people are writing.
People saying, yeah.
Anyone good with this TikTok? I've clicked all. Let me see settings. No. Comment setting. Let's see. Allow comment. Yeah, it's on. Filter comment is on. I don't.
You can turn it on and turn it back off, on and off, and see.
Okay. Let's see then. Comment. I even tried to put something there. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I think I pressed the wrong button. Let's see. Yeah, okay. You can carry on. I'll try and sort it out so I don't take too much of your time as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I think what was I talking about? I even forgotten now. Yeah, and I think you also mentioned about picking your battles. I think the thing is, nobody wants to be somebody who nags about every little thing that you do, and you have to pick your battles. If when you're at work, you don't go fighting with somebody leaving the teacup here or somebody taking your pen here So when you get home, why do you want to pick on every little thing? So you have to learn that you have to apply the same kind of self-control you were talking about that we sometimes apply in other environments. We need to apply the same thing and that empathy at work. I mean, our relationship. We have to apply it. So I think sometimes we can be less intolerant in relationship than we are, elsewhere. And I think we need to apply that same kindness, that same empathy, that same understanding, that we give everywhere else in our relationship. Our partners are not robots. They're not perfect. We are not perfect. So they're gonna make mistakes and we're gonna make mistakes. And that's the only way we can navigate through it, by talking, communicating, listening, respecting the other person's views, understanding what they're saying and how they're expressing themselves, and not being judgmental. Because I think another thing is people being judgmental is very difficult. You talked about this personal safety thing, and I think in a relationship that's very important. It's important when you're in a relationship with someone to feel that you can be vulnerable with yourself, about yourself, and actually sharing those things about yourself, why you behave a certain way, has deep roots. Sometimes they can even trigger trauma and stuff. And being able, and because I behave a certain way, that's the way my parents raised me. That's how they taught me. And having somebody who creates that environment in you that you're able to just say, you know what, I'm sorry I behaved that way. It's a bad behavior that I've picked up. You've made me aware of it. I'm going to try my best. Sometimes you can even get the person to help you and say, when I start doing that, please, nudge me and say, babe, you're doing it.
Because
I'm here for you. I'm here for you, babe. I can see you're getting upset. Maybe calm down. No, hold their hand. Sometimes just little things can help the other person, and you need to have a relationship where you feel that emotional safety to be vulnerable, to be able to talk about those things. Because sometimes you don't feel like that because you feel the person's going to judge you, and therefore, if the person comes in a judgmental way, you're not going to open up, and then you're going to get defensive, and then it's just going to escalate.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Let me see where my clap is gone. Yeah, it still hasn't worked, so I don't know. God will help me. I hope I'm not going to miss anything tangible there. Oh, I don't know. When I brought the box up, everything just went. Anyway, thank you. Now you really expanded it. You've even gone beyond, your spouse, your children, people you relate with. You just have to be tolerant of people so that you can live amicably, you can live in harmony with them. And briefly I talked about the extreme cases where tolerance will not even help that situation. You might have to physically remove yourself from that situation so that things does not escalate to the negative side. But thank you so much for your contribution. Much appreciated.
Your comments is gone now. Can anyone else see it? Because mine is gone off mine now. It says the comments been turned off.
I think she disabled it.
Oh, okay. You might have to try and put it back on.
I did, but I did. It's green. Allow comments is green.
Your comment wasn't posted because
it says
comments were turned off. Yeah,
it's off here.
Oh.
Yeah, you just need to go back.
So FunmiRoyal, it's not supposed to be green. It's supposed to be gray.
Ah.
Yeah. So when it's green, that's when it's turned on. That's what I mean.
Oh.
That's when you switched off the comment. So it's supposed to be the other way around.
Oh, so it says comment allowed when green. Meaning yes.
I know with the app sometimes it can be fun. It can be a bit funny with the way they put it, because there are times where you would think when it goes green is putting it on, but it's actually the opposite.
Because now I said let me try.
Let me just say.
And it just said allow comments. It's like I'm not even allowing comments. Oh no!
It says a comment turned off.
Oh, it's back.
Yeah, it's back now.
Yeah, it's
For
back.
you not is back. For me is not. But it's
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
So now
It's back now, it's
you're
back
going to be
now.
my eyes. I do not know.
Don't worry, I'll be your
See.
eyes. Don't worry. Go on.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I can't. It's just blank here. Nothing other than my claps and guests and what have you. But it's okay. It's all good. At least we can still hear each other. That's the most important thing. Thank you. So I'm going to come to John Held 3. That's as much of your name I can see. However, I want to put my puzzle out there so that we can start thinking about it. If you know the answer, please come in and tell us what the answer is. So my puzzle for today is out there. Okay, John, can you just mute for us 1 second, please, so that people can hear this?
Okay, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. I trust you're good. Just one second, please. So my puzzle for today is, why did the man give his wedding ring to the church? Why did the man give his wedding ring to the church? There's a reason why. I can even type it, but I don't know whether you lot will see it. It's just funny. So that is the puzzle for today. Why did the man give his wedding ring to the church? There's a reason why he did that. If you know the answer, that's the puzzle for today. Come and attempt it. If you get it, you get the gift for today. So I'm coming to you, John Hell 3. I don't know if your name is more than that, but that's all I can see on my screen. What is your take about tolerance in marriage? Can a marriage thrive without tolerance? What is your take? And you're welcome as well.
Okay, ma'am. Marriage is a very beautiful thing, ma'am. When you hear some marry, it's a very beautiful thing. Smart. If you in a you marry with your partner, you must have some respect and give some good communication. If you marry with your partner, you know must do something that not good. You must have communication with your partner. Everything what you did, you don't can marry with your partner and you do things all alone. You alone. No, you must have some good communication with your partner. And if you and your partner living and you have kids, you have bring your kids and your partner to God. We have to pray together in this house to bring more love, more things in this house. Let the kids have more. Who you talking with very nice things. You have more. You will have more feelings for your kids and your wife, and more respect for your marriage. And everything what you did, you have to bring your woman, your wife, in all the thing what you do. You know, can do something and you don't let the woman know of. You know, you must have everything you must do and bring your woman and communicate with your woman before you do something. Because if something happen and you don't have communication with your wife, you have a big problem in your relationship, in your marriage. You have to have a good communication and your kids and all. I see always if I marry, I have my woman, I have my wife, I have my kids. I gonna bring it to God. I bring God in my life, in my relationship, in my marriage. God must be the last man. He can do everything for me. I don't can do everything alone. God gonna help me with it, you know, and that gonna make your family come a good family all the ways. Everything was happen, you must have some communication with your kids. If something happen over the street, that kids can come tell you. You must have some good contact with your kids. You must have some good contact with your woman. You must have love for your family.
Okay.
All this love you must have, and you must help your family in all the things what we're doing. Because if you have your woman, you can cooking for your woman, you can clean house, you can help your woman wash clothes, you can do all the things. And if you do that, and the woman can help you do things together in this house, and you know, it's a very nice things. It's a very nice things in your relationship, in your marriage life, and God gonna bless you. God gonna bless you
Thank you. Yeah.
relationship, and God gonna bless your life too. That I be want to tell you
Okay.
a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah, I picked so many things from there. One of the things that really touches me that you said, John, is, praying together, because sometimes when you feel so irritated and all, but you have to pray together, that tolerance will just come naturally. Because, you can't be upset with the person you're praying with, And he also
Amen.
mentioned about, being for one another, being there for one another, and it even goes beyond your spouse. It goes to your
True.
children as well. Even your children will do things, just like Na said. They will do things you almost like, you can't take it anymore. But you can't throw your children away. There's nothing you can do. You just have to keep loving them and being tolerant of them. And hopefully, it's a phase they're going through. The change will come and they will do better. So thank you
True.
so much, John, for that. Thank
Amen.
you. I tried to this. Well, I can't see anything. I don't know now. Did you see what I posted?
It's showing up.
Can you see what I've just posted?
I can see it. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, it's showing.
Okay, as long as you can see, I can't. I don't know why it's just gone blank. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to come to Viggy Mott. Viggy Mott, how are you? Good evening to you. Was evening here. I hope your day has been good. You're welcome to Inside. We want to hear your submission about this topic, marriage and tolerance. Do you think marriage can thrive without tolerance? What is your take on this? Let's hear from you, Viggy Mott. Viggy Mott, you have to unmute. I see you, Integrity 347. You're welcome. Yes.
Hi, good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Just very briefly, um, yeah, don't think marriage will survive without tolerance, just to put it in a very straight way. Um, even, yeah, like I heard someone said earlier, like even at work, you have to tolerate. Although the world we live today, tolerance level, has drastically dropped because we've become a lot more selfish and a lot more impatient,
Yeah.
and everybody is so comfortable in their own space that you don't even want to bring someone else into that space. So now I was having similar conversation with one of my aunties this afternoon, and I was of the opinion that tech, didn't help at all when it comes to these things, because everybody just find their space very comfortable. So people are not even willing to like sacrifice again. People are not willing to let go. People are not willing to bring people into their space. So therefore, the tolerance level has drastically dropped. I can't imagine even friendship, without tolerance, because the bottom line is this: yeah, we need to be accommodating, of each other. We are imperfect, first of all, so we would make mistakes, we would do silly things, we would apologize umpteen time, and it's only tolerance that can make, relationships survive. So now, when it now comes to marriage, marriage is even a different ball game. It's a lifetime
Commitment, yeah.
sort of agreement. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it's a lifetime agreement. Now, how do you survive throughout those years? Yeah, so you definitely need to be tolerant. So, because I know someone said it earlier, we grew up differently. We're not going to have the same ideology. We're not going to see things the same way. We're not going to clean house the same way. We're not going to be as organized, the same way. We'll probably do things differently. What's right to you might be left to me, and what's straight to me might be backwards to someone else. So we won't say things differently, but it requires that high level of tolerance to be able to say, okay, you know what? I understand you've got flaws, I've got flaws. How do we work? How do we make it work? So you have to be very, very tolerant. Like I mean, you can't underestimate, the effect of, being tolerant in a relationship. And I know someone said earlier, we do it at work. or counsel people, I do say to them, like, just consider marriage is an institution. It's an organization, so to say. So just always put a direct contrast with your working place. You know, sometimes your boss will even shout at you. You get some emails that are not very, pleasant, but because it's work, you still have to respond to that email. You still have to acknowledge it. You still have to like deal with it. If you're given a task, you still have to do it anyways. So now think of your relationship as this. It's a place where two people come together, work together to achieve the same goal, and which is the same thing as organization. So two people coming together is like teamwork. So, and when you're working as a team, you have to be able to tolerate each other. I'll tell you what, there's we're so different in so many ways. Two people won't be the same. So, which means that that person is coming with their baggage, and you are coming with your baggage as well.
Oh, yeah.
And see it as you're traveling, and as a couple, you only have one bag, either 30 kg or 20 kg, right? How do you fit your stuff into that baggage? You have to share, isn't it? So
Oh,
it
yeah.
means some things will go, some things won't go, some things you have to leave behind, some things you have to take with you. You only take the essentials, right? Or things that are very important to you that you definitely need while you're away on that staycation or vacation. So, which means you have to be tolerant. I know for a fact that in this day and age, it's not what it used to be back in the days. It's all changed now. But yeah, just to say again, relationship won't survive without be tolerant of each other. So it is an important, a very key aspect of relationship actually. After communication, yeah, that is another very important key aspect of relationship. Yeah, that's just my little talking, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that contribution. I don't know how marriage really can thrive without tolerance. And I have a question for you, Ify, and it's because of what you said earlier. This question came to mind. I'm coming to my other guest in the box. Ify, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. A couple gets married. Of
Yeah.
course, maybe in their 20s, life is good and all that. The man doesn't snore, the woman does not snore. And then maybe 7, 10 years into that marriage, all of a sudden, maybe he's grown a bit of pot belly, or maybe he's added some weight and all, the woman as well. And now this person snores so bad, and it's like, nothing prepared me for this. I never thought, for all these years, he never snored or she never snored.
Yeah.
Now this is what I have to put up with. Boy, it's driving me crazy. I don't sleep till 3 in the morning, so what would you say to such a person if they're on live now?
I will say that these are unfortunate situations, right? That has arisen from, whatever that caused it. Now, all you can do is find a solution to that problem. Find a way to navigate the Red Sea. You call it a Red Sea. That's where whatever strong bond they have built prior to that is what is going to make you to be able to tolerate that beyond your own strength, because that thing can drive you crazy. Let's be honest. So, but you can't just wake up and leave,
Yeah,
because
of course, no,
and,
not
and
because of that, no.
you see, and that's why it's very important that when you get into these marriages, you need to create memories. And these are the memories that will keep you when things like this comes around. Then what do? Both of you will find a solution to that problem.
Yeah.
Because let's assume that you're trying for kids and the child is not coming. You go to the hospital, they say both of you are good. For whatever reason, it's not coming. You're not going to wake up and walk away. You keep on looking for a solution. It could be praying, it could be doing IVF, it could be anything. So in these kind of situations, it wasn't there before, but now it's there. You just need to find a way to deal with it, because this is no, it's not a case of cheating or things like that. So this is just snoring. So you just need to find a way to deal with that. You can go, there could be a medical solution, there could be just a common exercise. Both of you start exercising. Just don't tell the person, oh, you're fat, you need to start. No, both of you, as a man, for instance,
You
you
have to
need
be
to,
empathetic. Yeah.
exactly, you need to lead the way and say, okay, babe, let's go for a walk. The more you start seeing results, the more addicted you are to that exercise. So yeah, it's always, it's very important that also when we get married, for us to make our partner, our husband, our wife, our best friend. And like Na said, effective communication is very important in this situation as well. You need to find a way to relate the situation in an effective way that will not come as an insult. And that's why it's very important also to create an enabling environment in our relationships or marriage where we can be like children around each other. Very
You're
important.
vulnerable with one another. You can share
Exactly.
everything with your partner. Yeah.
Exactly. Because if we can talk about everything without it, without no one feeling offended or insulted, then we have arrived to that place we need to be. And that's the thing. So yeah, it's a situation of, okay, let's find a solution. I've dated someone that has a halitosis.
Oh.
I had to find a way to help. And that's why I say that before you get into it, you need to make sure that the person you are with has a teachable spirit.
Oh yeah.
Because
Very
if the person,
important.
if the person doesn't have a teachable spirit, if this kind of situations arise, they might not be able to withstand when you tell them they're having that situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's easier said than done, but at the same time, there's
But
no
we have to
mountain
say
that,
it. Say the
yeah.
truth and let the devil be ashamed of
No,
how
you've
they.
got to. You've got to. That's one thing about me, that when I meet people, I don't just get carried away by your beauty, by your how you look and things. So I want to know your mindset, your soul, your spirit, and your body. Can I be able to relate? Can you be able to communicate with me? It's very important. Do I have a teachable spirit? Do you have a teachable spirit?
Yes.
Because I need to be open to listen to you. You need to teach me. I need to teach you. Both of us need to teach one another.
Yes.
I need
Yes.
to be vulnerable around you. Can you do so to me, around me, without me, feeling that you are, choking me or that kind of thing? No, it's true. People do that.
Yeah.
So, because, I mean, growing up back in Africa, and you see a lot of mothers in Africa, they have their own separate rooms.
Yeah.
And the husband, the dads, they have their own separate rooms. Now, when I look back now, I see the reason why they do this way.
Are you saying that's the sole reason?
No, 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 no. It's not just that, but there's a lot of things, a lot of what I call it situations you can avoid.
Well, true. Yeah. Yeah.
If your husband is somebody that doesn't like to organize their clothes and put it in order the way you like your own, you will be driving you crazy. But at the same time, you still love the man. You understand? Maybe the
Yeah.
time you want to pray, the man want to talk about something. But if you're in your own room, you can kneel down, close the door, and talk to whoever you believe in. So yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. So, if you're the type out there now, 7, 10 years into that marriage, and your wife is snoring, your husband is snoring, it's part of this tolerance we're talking about. You might say, "Ah, but I didn't sign up for that. Oh, I used to, da, da, da." It's part of it. It's part of it. You don't know the totality of your spouse because you're going to be growing into each other as the years go by. I wasn't this chubby, or I wasn't this size when I got married. I was like a skinny bone. So imagine if that was what attracted me to my husband, and now after 4 children, I am like this, and it's like he cannot tolerate me anymore. Where does that leave my marriage? So there's certain changes that would come naturally. There's some that may not be natural. There's some that we really need to intentionally work on so that we can still enjoy that marriage. We cannot be in denial of certain things because our tolerance level will be as low as it can be. So open communication, just like if he said, and I think John also mentioned, or was it as well, you have to be able to say it as it is. It's part of being tolerant, of one another. Nobody's perfect. So thank you so much for that response. I'm coming to Coach Tola. Yeah, I'm coming to you because I'm just looking at the people in the box. Or Vicky Mott, you've said something, yeah? Yes, I think you have. Yeah, so Coach Tola, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us today on Inside. I've missed you, sis. It's been a while.
I know. Good
Yeah.
evening. Good evening, everyone. I would say when I saw the topic, my first instinct was, you know, should we be talking about tolerance in marriage? And I quickly went to check, what's the meaning of the word tolerance? Because when we talk about tolerance, it gives the picture of I'm putting up with you just because I have to type of thing. And I don't think that that's what we want to be involved in marriage. We have other relationships, we have children, we have siblings, we have our parents and all that, and we gladly relate to these people even when we're different from one another, even when we have disagreements. That relationship does not break down completely because there is something that ties us together. There is the love, there is the assumption that because we're related, we'll continue to relate to one another. I'm not saying that there are no exceptions in which siblings, just that relationship breaks down completely. But for the greater percentage of us, those relationships go on. We have differences. We can even say stuff like, oh, don't mind my sister, she's like that, she's like that. We know our differences, we celebrate our differences, we accommodate those differences. It doesn't become a problem, and we kind of relate to each other knowing that person. We've lived together, we've grown up together, blah blah blah, so we know that person like the back of our hand. Now, where the marriage relationship is different is that we come from different backgrounds. We're not related by blood and all of that. But we should still get to that knowing point. And I liked the way if you responded to this last question. We should have common values. That's why I actually believe that a lot of the issues that we see in marriage are issues that we have carried over from the very beginning. It is at the choice point that we seem to go wrong. We go wrong because we're basing our choice on feelings, we're basing our choice on the looks, we're basing our choice on all the temporary things that are going to change anyway. I can testify to the fact that Fumi was not like this before she got
Don't call my air my dirty linen.
married. So these things are going to change. We don't know how they're going to change, but we know that they are going to change because we're not going to remain the same for decades. And we're going to be in this marriage for decades if the Lord tarries and if He grants us long life. So the things that should hold us together should be values. And if we have the same values, then when those changes now happen and we need to make adjustments, it's not so difficult because you now have a deep love and affection for these people. Have you ever worked with a boss that he genuinely likes the people under him? He treats you with respect. He's a caring boss and all that. Have you ever worked with such a person? Because I have, and it means that if that man I remember the first time I ever had to work late. I think I can't remember whether it was during my service year or after, because I stayed with the same company that I served with. So I'm not quite sure whether it was during my service or just the year after. I was young. I was straight from university. And this man, very lovely human being, my boss, my manager, and he said, oh, can you help me sort out whatever it was? I can't even remember. It's decades and decades ago. But that thing never left me. And I will gladly do that over time, unpaid, because I knew that if he didn't need that support, he wouldn't have asked me. I knew that he was a caring person. I knew that he was a good boss. So I did it anyway. In the same way, if we have the right kind of values and if our relationships are built on the right foundation, when there is now a challenge, or my husband is requiring a bit of a sacrifice from me, it will not be difficult for me to say, oh yes, dear, and vice versa as well. But a lot of us go into relationships with selfish motives, and therefore the very slight issue that crops up, we're now talking about tolerance. And that's why I said I don't think tolerance is the word we want to be using, because I can tolerate the people at work. I can put up with them.
I think you missed the earlier part, because when I give my talk, I always try to define so that we understand where I'm coming from. And it's because of what you said. I've had to go back to my introduction and I'll read it to you. Maybe if you see it from that perspective, you understand. I understand what you're saying as well. So I said when we talk about tolerance, we're talking about acceptance, patience, and understanding. Tolerance is not simply enduring your partner's flaws, quirks, or mistakes. It's a deeper acceptance of the differences that exist between two people. It's about finding peace in these differences and allowing your partner the freedom to be themselves, even when their behavior might challenge your own beliefs, your own habits, or your own expectations. So when you look at it from that perspective, I do get you. But English dictionary will bring different definition. Wikipedia will bring its own. Google will bring its own. But that is the context to which we're looking at this tolerance in marriage.
Yeah, I get the context. I just wanted to also bring out that angle, because like I was about to say, at work I can tolerate anything. I go there, I do a job, and I'm out.
Is it because
well, of course, because I get paid, and because what happens at work does not define me.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Even if I wasn't getting paid, even if it's a volunteer work, if I go in there, my focus is, okay, I'm here to do X, Y, Z. My goal is what matters to me. And I go there, I do what I need to do. I say hello. I smile when I need to smile. The kind of way our British people, the way they smile, the smile that doesn't reach anywhere on their face. You just go like that,
Yeah.
And you do what you need to do and you come out. But that is not the kind of acceptance and understanding that we need in marriage. That's the point I was trying to make. That it's not, let's hang in there, or my husband is behaving badly, I have to tolerate him.
I talked about that as well. There are certain limitations to the tolerance.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but if we have common values to start with, if our love is based on deep understanding and respect, if it's based on friendship, if it's based on interaction, when the challenges now surface, then we can deal with the challenges. I mean, talking about snoring, that's a challenge, because if I'm not able to sleep, it's actually a challenge. But we can walk through, how do we do this? Okay, if you lie on your side, does it make it more comfortable for you? We can walk through it. We can seek medical help. We can seek therapy. We can, talk about losing weight and all of those things. But if there is a deep friendship, all of those conversations can be heard. But if there is no deep friendship, if you even tell it, oh, can you try and turn on your side? You say, kilo day. Why are you always complaining? So that it is not the snoring that is the issue. It's how we choose to deal with it that then becomes the issue. It's not the differences. Differences are good.
Yeah.
We're always going to be different.
Positive and
One
negative.
is a boy, the other one is a girl. We are always going to be different. Ab initio. There's no way to go about it. We are going to be different. We'll talk differently. We act different. Some people, it's the differences that brings them together. But it shouldn't be differences that are capable of separating us. It shouldn't be differences that means that the other person is attacking your identity, your core beliefs. You're so rude. You can't be serious. What are you talking about? This and that. That you begin to doubt yourself, and your self-esteem is eroded. And now you are now put in a place where you're tolerating for the sake of, whatever. So yeah, tolerance is a great word, but we have to get a good understanding of what is it that we're talking about. We need to get back to values. If there are people on here listening, you're married and maybe you don't even have the same values with your husband, you need to get back to that focus. You need to start talking about it, or with your wife, you need to start talking about it. What actually brought us together in the first place? What was the attraction? What was it? What are we trying to build? What's the goal? When we know all of that, then we can work together. Marriage is not meant to be something that we endure. It's meant to be something that we enjoy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Wow, I cannot begin to recap. I want to believe you heard what she said, It's very crucial. It's very crucial. I briefly talked about the extreme end when you talk about DVs, domestic violence, domestic abuse, and things like that. But there's always a thin line to what you meant to tolerate as well. So when you excuse certain behaviors and say, oh, because we're married, I have to tolerate this, and they're killing you, so to say, and they're, smothering you and all of the no. So there's always a thin line, but we're talking about a healthy one here. Once upon a time, he never or she never used to snore. Now she snores. I mean, you can't, because of snoring, divorce them. Do you understand? So that is the tolerance we're talking about. And then you sit down and talk about it. Is it something that can be addressed medically? Is it something like Coach Tola said, and if you also said losing weight? There's a whole lot of it to it as well. So open communication is very key and is very important. Thank you so much for that contribution. I'm coming to the next person, Ato Eliaza, my brother. How are you today? Welcome to Inside.
I'm good.
Oh, it's good to have you here.
Thank you.
So I'm sure you've heard at least a few bits, the few submissions from other people. This title is rolling on my screen. I don't know if it's showing on your screen. Marriage and tolerance. Okay. And the only one question that I asked today is, can a marriage thrive without tolerance? I don't know how you want to approach it. Now I'm coming to you. I saw that you wanted to attempt the puzzle, so I'm coming to you shortly. So let me hear from Ato, and then we'll come to the puzzle. Thank you.
I'm not so sure I'm the right person to ask. I'm not married anymore.
But you were once upon a time.
Yeah, but
at least you have experience you can share. And the thing is, was there tolerance, at least, even if not your own personal journey?
But the problem, I think, that people are not patient enough now.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Most of people that we are not patient enough. At every small thing we are out. I think in my last relationship, I think if both of us had a better understanding, I think it could have worked better.
Okay.
It could have worked better, but I think we were. I'm not just blaming. I'm not saying her. I say we. Okay. I think we were a bit not patient enough for each other. That could have worked.
Okay.
But that's
hearing that. Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest problem. I think the relationship was based on I don't know. It wasn't strong enough. But I think it's like what she said, is to build a relationship in a strong place.
Yeah.
That's any small thing that will not push you guys away. But I think it's quite difficult when two people that don't know each other, all of a sudden, you guys will start to sleep in the same place and sleep in the same bed.
A whole lot of change. That transition, sometimes some people are mentally not ready. And
some of us want to shower every day. Some doesn't want to shower once in a week.
Oh dear.
So that's difficult,
Yeah.
That's difficult.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your personal story as well. So from what he said, tolerance also comes with patience. That's why I said love alone will not sustain a marriage. Once upon a time, I used to think if I love this person, love alone will not sustain a marriage. If you love them and they're not understanding, they're not empathetic, they're not sympathetic, they're not understanding you, they're not tolerant of you, and all of that, in no time, it's gonna strangle that love you have for each other, and then what is left? So all of these things, work together with love to help us enjoy our marriages. And so far from everyone that has spoken, I can deduce already that marriage cannot thrive without tolerance. It's part of it. You have to be tolerant of one another. And the fact that you're married, you're growing, you're going to face some changes in life, individual changes, collective changes, and all of that. You have to learn to adapt and be tolerant, as they come. We're not talking about the negative side of things now, but the one that comes naturally. You just have to maybe now your spouse, you love to cook for your spouse, and now when you cook, they're always complaining this and that. Something has changed in your body system. Maybe you're reacting to salt, so you're always putting too much salt or less salt, and your partner says every time you cook, there's no salt or something. They have to learn to be tolerant, sit and talk about it. My dear, I've noticed that your cooking these days is like you hardly put salt. Talk about it. As simple as that is, it can create a problem, So let's not be in denial of issues. Always sit and talk about it amicably and constructively as well. So thank you so much, Ato, for sharing. And when it comes to you say you want to attempt the puzzle for today. I'm coming to you, Defender, in a minute. Why did the man give his wedding ring to the church? Over to you.
Because she's the groom. I mean, she's the bride. Sorry.
Because
she's the bride.
No.
Okay.
Think again. Thank you, but no thanks. Thank you. I don't know if Defender want to try the puzzle or you just want to go straight to your submission. Whichever one is fine. Or maybe Ato, do you want to try the puzzle? Why did the man give his wedding ring to the church?
Why would
Why?
you do that? Why would you do
Can I
that?
ask you some?
Yes,
Yeah.
please, John. Sorry, Ato. 1 second. Sorry.
Ma, what I don't understand, how somebody can give him wedding ring out of church. Your wedding ring will stay on your finger.
Yeah, but the man gave it to the church. Why did he give it to the church? It's a
That I
puzzle.
ask myself too, because I know your wedding ring have to stay on your finger.
Yes, I know.
And the choice don't tell the man, say, no, you must put your wedding ring on your finger. Something's happened there.
No, you're making me laugh, but yeah, no. There's a reason why the man took off his ring and gave it to the church. There's a reason.
Something has happened there.
What
Something
do you
is
think
difficult.
happened?
Because I
the
know
woman
your ring
upset
must
him.
stay on your finger. You marry, you must have your ring on your finger. And how are you gonna pull your ring and give the choice?
Maybe the woman is upsetting him. I don't know. No. No, well, thank you, John. Thank you. That was funny. I know your wedding ring is supposed to stay on your fingers, but if the man decides to remove and give it to the church, there's a reason why. I need to know why he did that. If you know the answer, you will get the prize or the gift for today. So thank you, John, but no thanks. So Ato, sorry, do you say you wanted to try?
Yeah, I guess he's I guess he's having so much problem with the marriage. So he's thinking that if he give the Lord the ring, and the Lord will take over his marriage.
If only, but you see, when I laugh, you have gotten it wrong. But thank you for attempting. But still be thinking. Don't worry, I'm gonna bring it back next week if nobody gets it for today. So thank you for the attempt so far. So Defender, I'm coming to you. Like I said, if you want to start with the puzzle, it's fine. If you want to start with the submission, can a marriage thrive without tolerance? What say you? Welcome to Insight, by the way. Let's hear you. I'm seeing Defender. Oh.
Hello, my beautiful sister. Hello, guys.
Welcome.
I think
marriage is about education and development.
Okay.
Depends on how you keep yourself in the roots of the train of education.
Yeah.
People changes, and you can change in your maybe age. You can also change when it comes to environment. There are things you used to do in the other community or in the other country, you can't do it in this country anymore. It's just like in abroad now, we are hearing a lot of people leaving their husband because they say their husband used to abuse them in the other country. But here they find out that thing is now abuse in this community. So they can't put up with that anymore. So it's about education and development. One of the things I always say is that I know you put marriage and tolerance. Me, I would like to change it to marriage and resilience.
I think we may have treated that before. I'm not too sure, but every week we bring different topic with where a marriage is concerned. So it's not like it's a permanent thing, but every topic has to do with marriage on Thursdays. So today, that's what we're looking at today: marriage and tolerance.
Yeah, no, I'm not changing it.
Okay.
For
Oh,
me
that's
to
what
be
you
able
will
to
say.
put my own point
Okay.
across,
All right. We'll accept it.
I will look at it as a marriage and resilience.
Okay. All right.
So now, in the perspective of resilience, we're also talking about maybe faith or capacity.
Okay.
So what are those things that encourage you or that protect you to manage this behavior
Okay.
or to be able to deal with this person?
Yeah.
When we talk about forgiveness, we talk about some people were talking about patience. Talking about that's where you now list tolerant again. So now, what is your capacity to have this tolerance? For me, it's easy for me to tell you I can't tolerate nonsense. But if I can adjust to make you not to do that nonsense, that's another powerful thing we need to also have the skills to be able to do.
How we affect our spouses, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because some people can be doing things because they are unaware, they are mentally unaware.
Okay.
They can also be doing it because maybe that's their upbringing. So now it's something you need to adjust by. Someone was talking about value. By bringing your value to table. Look, this is who I am. I'm not going to change you, but try and respect my value. Because you don't want to punish yourself because of one other person. And at the end of the day, you are not happy. The other one is happy. So that's not what marriage is about.
Not at all.
Especially when two of you are not the same family. This one came from another planet. That's from another planet. If you went to the same school, it's still okay. But living together, having children, children of different capacity, different caliber, you have to make sure you adjust your happiness to your own satisfaction. And then the other one doing it, the two of you now meet again to have the strength to support each other. If I'm not happy, how can I make you happy? If I'm not strong, I can't make you strong.
You cannot
So now
give what you don't have, yeah.
Yeah, you can offer it. We can biblically read it in theory, but in practice, that's why majority of great pastors fail in their marriage today. Because they were reading in the pulpit, it looks easy. You know, but when it comes to practice of it, let's talk about infection, a kidney infection. Someone can have kidney infection having some stupid behavior, some behavior that looks like you can't take it because this is something that starts between 48 hours that can lead to maybe a month or three weeks before doctor, if you have better healthcare in your community, maybe they may not even be able to do urine infection to find out is some infection there. They will be thinking it's a different kind of STD. Whereas you have infection that will make you lead to depression, or having anxiety, or having some men having some anger. You know, we'd never know that. So now, that is what I talk about faith, resilience, education. But for me, fashion is another challenges.
Really?
Fashion, yes.
In what way?
Fashion. Let me define it in a Christian perspective. You say you are not of the world. You are not of the world. So now, anything that is fashion based are temporal.
Okay.
So if you are not careful, focusing your marriage or your social lifestyle on there, you'll be surprised that you're going to have problem because they're not for long term. Let's talk about if Michael Jackson come into our community now, wear rags. Everybody want to go and buy rags. So now, the rags you get in market, maybe like you go into a bar and get it cheap. Because Michael Jackson is wearing it today, it's going to turn to, you have to have
Dollar.
like a big cabana before you can get it. So now, when fashion change and you are that kind of fashion person, it can affect your marriage now. Okay, you're talking about your income, we're talking about your capacity now. How much can you afford? What are the future? Not just you now, the future of the children. It's no longer there. It's no longer there. So fashion is something we need to be careful of. What is the purpose of this fashion? What are their needs? Are they relevant? Are they necessary? You know, it's good to look good, but let's be careful.
Excesses, yeah.
Yeah, not to push it in when it's not relevant. You know, it can be birthday something. The man can say, okay, let me buy the best hair for my wife or those. But if it's not necessary, we have to be careful. You know, it's not relevant. So those are the things. It's about education and development. I don't think we can be perfect in it. You have to continuously, it's like a CPD, continue professional development.
Yeah.
You have to continue doing it. That's just my own take on it. So I didn't change your topic. I'm sorry for you.
No, it's okay. I just thought maybe you didn't understand, and I had to explain that because people are listening and we really want to be on the same page. So I had to just chip in. But thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes, education, that's what I said is one of the things I mentioned when I gave my talk. We can learn how to be tolerant. We can learn how to be understanding. Some things we are not born with it. Maybe the way you grew up, you don't have any iota of patience, but now somebody's life is in your life. You have to learn patience. You have to learn tolerance. You have to learn a whole lot of things, understanding. If you're the type you're always having your way, getting your way all the time, now you're married to this person, they too want to have their way sometimes, and you cannot insist that you always must have your way. There will be problem. So you have to tolerate one another's ways to have a long-lasting marriage. Otherwise, there'll be problem in that marriage. So thank you, Defender. We need to be educated, like he said, a continuous education. Not that because, okay, I've learned this, that's all there is to know about that topic. No, because something will come to challenge you. Even when you think you've gotten all the knowledge, trust me, another challenge will come. And then you'll be thinking, oh my goodness, what is this again? And you have to keep learning the right way, the positive way to dealing with such situations as they arise so that you can enjoy your marriage, not endure it. Thank you once again for all your contributions. I'm mindful of the time. We have roughly about 7 more minutes. I don't know if I don't know if Defender O wants to attempt my puzzle. Why did the man give his wedding ring to the church? Why do you think he did that? There's a reason why he did that.
I think I'm from remote community. I'm not very strong at doing the marriage puzzle, but I think in my own, if I use my own knowledge, if someone give him wedding to the church, in majority of wedding, I think men usually give their what's it called ring to the church. The church they will open it and give it to them, isn't it? The woman will give it to them, isn't it? I think I'm not sure how it's done. Or it might be for blessing. for blessings, isn't it? For them to bless their home, isn't it? Like
But yeah, I mean that's on the wedding day. I mean, it's only normal for them to pray on the ring before they. But this one is, why did the man give his wedding ring to the church? There's a reason why. So we're not talking about this one that they're blessing it to give it back to them or whatever. No, this man actually has been married. He now took his wedding ring off and gave it to the church. There's a reason why. So no worries. I'll bring it back next week. We can go and do our research maybe on Google or Wikipedia or wherever. I don't know. And it's a funny one. You know, puzzles are meant to be funny just to kind of lighten the mood. So it's nothing serious. If people are kind of serious, some will start quoting the Bible now before I know what's happening. No, we're not quoting the Bible, but there's a reason why the man gave his wedding ring to the church. So next week, I'll bring it back. Go do your homework. Maybe you will know the answer. So I don't know if anyone want to chip in one or two things about marriage and tolerance before we round up for today. It's been quite insightful here today. Thank you all so much for your perspective, your submissions. You know, we took it up and down, wide, and I want to believe people on the FY are listening. They've been able to, you know, learn one or two things that can help them in that relationship they're in. So especially for those courting at the moment, these are things you need to talk about. Ask your boyfriend, your girlfriend, if I start snoring 5 years into marriage, would you still tolerate me? You know, be hypothetical about these things and just hear their views on that. Or is it that if I start pressing toothpaste from the bottom instead of or from the top instead of the bottom, are you still going to be tolerant of me? You know, it sounds funny, but these are little things that they say little foxes spoils the broth or whatever. These are little things you need to talk about. And then transitions in marriage. When you're together, just you, me and my husband, me and my wife, you know, you're okay, you're fine. And now the children start coming. And all of a sudden, maybe this woman becomes messy. The bottle is there, the wipe is there, she's just scattered. And you're like, oh, when did you become this untidy person? But are you even helping her? You have to be tolerant to that situation. Sit and talk about it. My dear, this thing is bugging me. That's why your spouse is there. Talk about all of these things. And once in a while, you see the wipes there. You too, put it back in the right place. It shows your tolerance of that situation, because we don't always have it put together. As a new mom, she's trying to get herself as a human. She's trying to get herself as a mom. She's trying to get herself as a wife. She's trying to get herself, you know, as a worker or something. So she might need more help in that phase she's going through. And then the way you react to her will determine whether you're tolerant of that situation, of that transition or not. I mean, I'm just citing examples. So situations will arise in marriage. It will need us to sit and talk about things. It will need us to readdress things. It will need us to change certain things. It will need us to do a lot of things. Be more understanding, be more compromising, be more empathetic, be more sympathetic, be more all of those things. And if you say this is your person for life, we have to have that big open heart to accommodate their excesses, their shortcomings. Nobody's perfect. Thank you everyone for your contribution, for you know, liking the live. Thank you so much. John Held, thank you for coming in today. Viggy Mott, thank you so much for coming. My sister, God bless you. I hope you're still tolerating me the way I am. Defender, oh, thank you so much. Coach Tola, thank you. Ify, I know some of you have dropped off, but thank you so much for making Insight very insightful today. And Ato, my brother, I see, thanks for sharing as well. You know, when we share sometimes our personal experiences, it kind of drives it home for people listening, to let them know, look, we're not robots here. We're humans and we have emotions, you know, we have life issues we have to deal with. So thank you all so much for your contributions today. So nobody's, you know, I don't know if anybody wants to try for the last time today, the puzzle. Why did the man give his wedding ring to the church? Any seeker? Yes, sis?
We need training on how to figure out how to do puzzles.
riddles. We need training how to figure out how to do riddles.
Retraining, he said.
I need training. I don't even know how to. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, it's meant to be a guess. You know, when you just sit down and think about it, not too hard, because the puzzle, that's the essence of a puzzle, really. It's just to make you laugh and think, oh, I should have thought of that. Yeah. By the time I tell you the answer now, you'll be thinking, oh, for me, that's just silly. Or you can say, oh, and laugh about it. So, yes, yes, yes. Don't worry, I'm bringing it back next week. Why did the man give his wedding ring to the church? So you can share with your family, friends, and put heads together. I must get this puzzle on inside, you know. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much. I wish you well. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. I know November is like running. I don't know where it's running to. But yeah, be good. Take care of yourself till I come your way again on Monday, 8 p.m. UK time. I remain yours, FunmiRoyal. Be good, be good, be good. Let's play the music. Thank you, guys. Have a lovely night rest. Bringing hope and make you feel alright. Thank you, Na. Thank you, Vidi. John, call me John. Thank you. Have a lovely night rest. God bless.